Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
Some of the core values of the Opel and Vauxhall brand, which is innovation in technology, particularly because of the E-Flex system and the many other variants of flexibility that this car has in itself, and you'll see that later. We've said this car is really the extreme execution of the flexibility of the Opel and Vauxhall brand, so that's why we call it the Opel Flextreme. Now, this vehicle is powered from an onboard battery, which can also be provided with additional energy from, in this case, a 1.3 diesel engine, a CVTi engine. Now, the range of the battery, fully loaded, is about 55 kilometers, which makes it ideal for urban commuting. Now, what is important to know is that research tells us that about 75% of Europeans commute about less than 55 kilometers a day, which means that the majority of the people who will be driving this car will solely run on the battery, which makes this car 100% emission-free. Now, this car is always powered by electricity, as Bob Wilson already said. The engine only comes in when the battery runs empty. Now, you would just plug in this battery on a 220-volt socket anywhere in Europe. The engine, when it kicks in, is to load the battery. And even from the moment it kicks in, the emission levels, the fuel economy is at a constant low level, which is still below 40 grams CO2, which makes it probably the cleanest and greenest car you'll see at the Frankfurt Motor Show in the coming days. Now, this is the third execution of E-Flex, and it's not a surprise that this third execution is done or is reserved for the Opel and Vauxhall brand. We have a long heritage when it comes to environmentally friendliness. And we believe that this vehicle, the Flextreme, has the potential to become sort of the flagship of our
Streaming live
strategy. And it all started about 20 years ago, in 1989, when Opel and Vauxhall, as the first European brand, standardized catalytic converters on our vehicles. So the environmental heritage is there, and I think this is a clear commitment to go way beyond what we started with. Now, to give you a little bit more of details about this car, about the innovations, the flexibility features, and particularly the design, let me hand over to Mark Adams, our Chief Designer, VP Design for GME Europe. Thank you very much.
We're designing the future product for Opel, Vauxhall, and Saab, and it's a real pleasure for me to be here with you tonight because of the importance of this vehicle to the Opel brand. This is actually more significant than the GTC concept we showed in Geneva because the Flextreme will dictate the future design language for Opel. It's a sleek monocab proportion, and it lies somewhere between Astra and Pirillo. in Action's footprint. It has beautifully sculpted dynamic body surfaces and very modern and fresh graphics, all of which put together creates a very bold vision statement. I hope you agree. At the front, we've got very typical Opel design trees, the center crease, the trapezoidal grille, and of course the very dynamic headlamps. Because of the unique function of the E-Flex architecture, the whole system requires very little air cooling, so the holes can be minimized, and what we've actually done here is flush out many of the apertures on the vehicle. This helps give us a CD value of approximately 0.25. One of the very striking features of this car is the very dramatic headlamp that slices through the body here, and it exposes some of the really cool technology with LED headlamps and some of the lightweight materials we're using on this vehicle. Not forgetting, of course, one of the signature tubes we put out there for the GTC in Geneva, and that is this signature tick, we're calling it, that will appear on all future Opels. Moving to the side, as I mentioned, the profile is very sleek and dynamic, and this very sporty window line tapers to the rear, giving the car real presence. It has a beautifully sculpted body, and again we're highlighting it with this blade feature down the body side, which really gives the car a certain dynamism and catapults it down the road. Moving to the rear, we're also doing a very characteristic, strong, muscular stance of the vehicle that really plants it on the road, makes it a very athletic-looking vehicle altogether. As the car spins, you'll see there's a full-length panoramic roof, and that really helps give the interior a very light and airy feeling. But it's when you get to the rear you start to see some really novel features here, and we have our very novel flexload system with a gull-wing tailgate that gives great open access, particularly in tight parking situations. The unique central spine actually has a rear-mounted camera for uninterrupted view out the rear of the vehicle. Initially, when you look at the graphics of the car, the tail lamps blend in with the rear window, but when illuminated, again, this signature tick graphic comes through loud and clear, and again will be on all future Opel. Now, not forgetting the interior, where I think Opel has definitely made some very strong progress in recent years. This vehicle actually uses a new system called the flexdoor, where the actual doors open up to 90 degrees to give a very wide open feeling and give the car a very spacious look. The interior design builds on the momentum of recent vehicles with high quality, inviting ambiance. The characteristic Opel wing that flows into the doors is a strong design element that will be coming through in the future. The center stack on this car has touchscreen controls that are fully customizable by the driver. One of the unique features here is a full width screen display at the base of the screen. This gives an unimpaired view of the outside from the three mounted cameras, one on each A-pillar area, and as I mentioned earlier, one on the rear. The information can also be customized on those screens for the driver, so he can put up whatever he wants in relation to that. Now, not forgetting the trademark Opel flexibility. We have two innovative sliding doors from the front and back, and these have integrated induction charging that can store and charge phones or MP3 players automatically. As you can see, I'm very enthusiastic about the design direction we're taking at Opel, and I really believe the Flextreme illustrates the exciting future ahead of us. Now I'm going to hand back to my man, who will take you through some more of the exciting details of this vehicle. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I explained in the beginning the role of flexibility for the Opel and Vauxhall brand. It's part of the soul and the DNA of the brand. And let me explain you get a bit more into details. When we talk about flexibility innovation, we explained a lot about the E-Flex system. The second element I would like to just come back to, which Mike briefly mentioned, is the trademarked flexdoor system. The system that we see here, which we're very proud of, and which is a trademarked feature. Now, we did a lot of clinics on this feature in the last years to make we've covered all grounds in this, and it's amazing how positive the feedback has been in terms of the easy rear access. Now imagine going shopping and you need to put your shopping bag to the rear, or imagine a mother with a child seat at the back, how easy the access is, in fact, to the front and to the second row. So a really very practical feature and very safe.
You get
now, the research outcome, in fact, has been so positive that we decided to move forward and to put this into production. I would say stay tuned on this communication. Now, another element of flexibility that I would like to sort of finish this presentation with is you might have been surprised by the number of Segway PTs that you see driving around here, and you probably wonder yourself, what does this have to do with this whole presentation? Well, what we thought is let's look at some more innovation and some more flexibility that really fit well into this concept. And at the end of the day, if you get into this vehicle in a city, in a metropolitan city, there's always still this extra mile you need to go from your parking lot to the place you want to be. And we thought, let's think of an innovative environmental feature or a communication tool that really helps us to do this last mile. And that's where we came up, in fact, with the Segway PTs. Now, you may remember about a year ago, and I'm sure you remember, when we introduced the FlexSticks bike carrier on the Corsa last year and earlier this year on the Antara. Well, in fact, our engineers have moved this feature forward and really invented what we now call the flexload system, which in fact, as a matter of fact, is a carrier for the two docking, which is a carrier and a docking station for two Segway PTs. So you basically just carry them in your load carrier, two of them, and they can also load. So basically your two Segways have enough juice to bring you just the last couple of kilometers from your parking spot to where you need to be. Now, somebody who can explain this very nice and modern feature a lot better than I can is Tim Norris, who I welcome on stage, the CEO and President of Segway. Hi, Tim. How are you? Good to see you again. Segway is honored to work with General Motors, and we're thrilled to be part of such a revolutionary vehicle. With this vehicle, General Motors and Segway are redefining personal transportation and urban mobility. We feel there is an enormous opportunity right now for people everywhere to embrace new transportation options that can help shrink their carbon footprint. And options such as these clean, electrically driven mobility concepts are a major part in that direction. This is a commitment to clean urban mobility that our customers take very seriously. And the integration of two Segway PTs in the design of the Opel Flextreme represents a transportation alternative that we feel will benefit people in society everywhere. Here in Europe, a car like the Opel Flextreme will help save on fuel costs, reduce emissions, and deliver a higher level of mobility to commuters in the busiest city centers. We are very proud that the Segway PT is welcomed on the streets of several German states and cities throughout Europe and the world. Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure working with the Segway team. A company just like us at the GMC are committed to really create innovation, but also environmentally friendly innovation. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this, I would say, formal part. I would like to welcome Bob Lutz again on stage, and also Mark. We're open for any questions. I think we start now with the informal part, but we can now take pictures and look at this car from a bit closer. Thank you very much for your attention.